Up is Mayor Justin Flippen, City of Wilton Manors. Mayor Flippen is a proud Broward County native. He attended Coconut Creek High School, Broward College, and FAU, where he served as student body president. He earned his JD at the University of Florida. And he worked as a legislative aide in a Florida House with the County Commission. His education and experience serves as fertile learning ground for his future career. Mayor Flippen was first elected to the City of Wilton Manors Commission in 2008, again in 2014, serving twice as vice mayor. In 2018, Mayor Flippen was elected by the people of Wilton Manors as their mayor by a historic margin of victory. He also made history that year, becoming a member of the only all LGBT city commission in the country. Despite this distinction, Mayor Flippen believes from policy to practice in the importance of being inclusive and representing the interests of all who call Wilton Manors home. He is known as the People's Mayor, and Mayor Flippen considers himself first and foremost a public servant in both his role with Broward County government and as a business relations manager at the Greater Fort Lauderdale CVB, and with Wilton Manors as the people's elected mayor. You might be interested to know that a couple of his bucket list goals include visiting all the United States and every national park site in America. I did not know this. He is proud to share that he has been to all of the 50 states and 5 territories at last count, and has explored 319 of 419 sites in the national park system.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. And yes, I'm a huge national park fan and a history buff of American history. Speaking of a little bit of history, I'd just like to take a moment to just tell everybody, since we're all here kind of as family, I remember when I first came to this property, I was in elementary school, and I was honored for some citizenship award. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would come back into this property and stand before a business community as a mayor of a municipality. So it's a rather full circle, and I do take extreme pride in being a Broward County native. This community fostered who I am and what I am, and it is my proud duty to give in public service to this community and to our destination and to our county. So with that, I've got a clicker in hand, and I am known as a doer to some people. My vice mayor can proudly attest that when I put my mind to things, I like to see things happen. And so I'd like to give everybody a brief little synopsis of what's going on in Wilton Manors, because I think that the future looks pretty bright. Not just my shirt that I'm wearing today. All right, with that being said, all right. Most people know that we're the Island City. That's not just a name, that is geographically who we are as a community. You cannot circumnavigate any other city in Broward County but us, and we're proud of that distinction. We have over 13,000 residents with about 2 square miles, and our main street, most of you all know, is Wilton Drive. And we are known to be inclusive. Yes, I believe it was mentioned that with my election, we became the first all LGBT plus city commission in history. We share a unique distinction with the city of Palm Springs. They have an all LGBT city council. More important than that, though, is the idea of inclusivity. Rather than what your identity is or that checkbox that you can have as a member of any community, is how in policy and practice you govern. And I am proud to serve with Vice Mayor Tom Green and the rest of my commission with that as our attitude. And so we have this small sensibility about our city. We are not a grandiose municipality, but we are a proud, thriving city, and it is growing and we are on the move. Lots of folks know about some of the things that we have. Our vision for our city include our transit-oriented corridors and our nature of being inclusive. Again, that sense of inclusivity about mobility. We have increased walkability, bikeability. If you've been to Wilton Manors lately, you might know that it is changing. Our future for our city is basically one of a hip urban village. And we're already rated highly for our walkability and bikeability, But our intention is basically to increase on those marked scores. And thanks to the transportation surtax, we're growing our sidewalk network, and our commission has demonstrated a commitment to helping our residents leave those cars at home and to reduce our collective carbon footprint. I am proud that we are the only city in, I believe, all of America that has a regional joint compact with another municipality, and that being Oakland Park, to touch on how do we address issues of climate change. Because as Mayor Trantella said earlier, things affect one city, they don't stop at the border, they cross over. So how do we work together to tackle the issues facing our community? We offer those rideshare discounts to get onto Wilton Drive, going back to Wilton Drive itself and reducing that carbon footprint. We have discounts for Uber and Lyft, where rather than, my city manager will forgive me, rather than pay the city $1.50 or so to park an hour in Wilton Manors, take an Uber or a Lyft. We're offering discounts, $5 to come on into the city, and that'll get you there practically for free, depending on where you're starting your point of origin. You will have to pay, though, to exit the city. And so we're proud of thinking outside of the box.
The $20 toll.
We're not toll keepers, and we're not trying to keep you trapped there, but we like getting you in, but then you got to pay to get out. We're actively increasing our tree canopy. That's important to us. Our city has a unique distinction of being one of the only few nationally wildlife certified habitat communities in our nation, and I just recently attended a county climate change class where they showed on a map the different regions of Broward County that are really hitting the mark when it comes to tree canopies and being green, and I'm very proud that Wilton Manors did receive the recognition that we are most deserving of. Speaking of the future, Wilton Manors wants something that we haven't had, and that is a hotel.
Please.
Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, our city has had a challenge in the past. We're almost practically all built out. Land is finite in 2 square miles. And what our city was missing was a study to justify whether or not a hotel could and should be built in Wilton Manors. I'm very pleased to share with you the fact that we have done just that. And what our study indicated, that while the market is very strong and very promising for a hotel, that issue of finite land needs to be addressed. And what the city can do is leverage its position. One of the things that we believe that we can do is that City Hall sits on an extremely marketable piece of property right along our main street of Wilton Drive. And we just conducted a public workshop and presentation where we were shown concepts of what could be in Wilton Manors. And we are very open to the idea of leveraging what our city owns as an incentive to fill the gap to help a public-private partnership to be established in Wilton Manors. Because as much as in my other capacity at the CVB, I love filling heads and beds all over Greater Fort Lauderdale, I would love to also see that happen more succinctly in Wilton Manors. And we definitely know that LGBT, eco, and other forms of tourism play an extremely vital part to the economic vitality of our city. We talk about the future and what it could be. Wilton Manors is that small town. We are looking to increase and take careful steps to increase our density in mixed-use developments on our transit-oriented corridors like Northeast 26th Street, Wilton Drive, and Andrews Avenue. And we know that the key to energizing our local economy is increased density and putting our mark on the kind of form. Rather than letting developers come to us and start hodgepodging what is all over the place in other communities, Wilton Manors is undertaking a very precise way of defining what our form should be to match our small town feel. And what I can tell you, it is not. Well, I'll point further south than Mayor Trantellis' territory to that of Miami. And it is not what you see in Brickell. But what it could be is this other, which you see in the Woodward. The density, the units per acre. It's all about design and form. And quite frankly, Wilton Manors has a very opportune, it's very opportune for us to have our mark on that type of form and what the future density can be, specifically along those commercial and transit-oriented corridors. And again, we're not going to embrace what's happening in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I love going to work in Fort Lauderdale, but I love even more driving home to Wilton Manors. And maybe Mayor Trantellis will say that how he loves working in Wilton Manors, but then he drives home. to what I affectionately call as Greater Wilton Manors outside of our borders.
Did I forget to say that?
But it's all about working together and knowing your community, you know, what we are and what we are not. And so scale is truly everything, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see some of that. I talk about increased density. We've got some increased density that was built recently along the Dixie Highway corridor. The Metropolitan is one of those hallmarks, and one is actually being built right now. At the Pride Center at Equality Park, we have the senior-friendly housing community that is being built right now, and we are so thrilled for the partnership that has been undertaking at the Pride Center, because that's part of the vision. As mayor, it's my duty to make sure that I represent those residents that are currently in my city, but even also equally important is to make sure that the future residents of Wilton Manors are also welcomed and to know that they have a place in the island city. Some other key initiatives that we are undertaking include, and some of this you may have heard of already, the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council has been assisting with both an effort to prepare our community for a potential and future Tri-Rail Coastal Link commuter platform, as well as the massing that is rendered here shows you the Dixie Highway corridor of what, again, could potentially be. Anything that I'm showing you, ladies and gentlemen, is very specific and targeted to our commercial and transit corridors, because we believe that those are those ripe regions that need growth. Our city has also been the first in Broward County to adopt a transit-oriented corridor, and we have dedicated funding year after year for a potential future train platform. And I believe that it's important that the city demonstrate that commitment rather than having it built first and then wondering, well, how are we going to justify with density and residents living for that platform when it comes. So we're ready and eager to see a platform station come to Wilton Manors. Other key initiatives include the creation of a plan for the redevelopment of the City Hall property, and I alluded to that earlier, where we provide a P3 project with hotels, some multifamily residential, a parking structure, and increased residential amenities. Parking continues to be a complicated issue in Wilton Manors, but the market analysis for both projects provide for fairly strong conditions with positive results from both our residential community and other interested stakeholders. Those stakeholders are you. Ladies and gentlemen, I might channel one of my faves, and that is Harvey Milk. I am here to recruit you. I want you to go to your business community associates, developers, and I appreciate the sponsor that is here with us. We are ripe and for opportunity in Wilton Manors, but I need your help in the business community to share and to spread that message. So with that, moving on to Wilton Drive, we've got the beautification project undertaking. We've just finished the narrowing of Wilton Drive, and that was an 18-year-plus project in the making. I'm glad to know that we are going to have these wider sidewalks, dedicated bike lanes, and a thriving economic corridor awaits for us. In fact, the next phase is coming up, and that is basically irrigation, landscaping, and all the beautiful, pretty aesthetic things that you would want to see in a main street. And so I look forward to our ribbon cutting in the new, not-too-distant future in late spring. And then we'll be adding wayfinding, public art, and lighting and other amenities in the city. And with that, I've been asked to share a video, which I don't know how we would do that if, well, I'll give this a shot. And if the sound is working, we're hoping that it is. This is the future of Wilton Manors.
Nightlife and entertainment. But did you know it's also the cultural hub of Wilton Manors? It's home to boutique galleries showcasing one-of-a-kind works of art. Paintings, sculpture, photography, to jewelry. If you're looking for antique treasures, we've got them too. The Drive even hosts a monthly art walk. The Stonewall National Museum preserves and shares the proud history and culture of the LGBTQ community. Even the renowned South Florida Symphony has its headquarters on Wilton Drive. Whether it's your first time visiting or you're a regular on the Drive, There are many things waiting here for you to discover.
If that doesn't want to get you out onto Wilton Drive, I don't know what will. So what's coming in the future? This past budget cycle, the City Commission had the foresight, and I'm grateful for everyone's contribution to this, to dedicate funding to establish an economic development manager for our city.
Yay!
Thank you, sir. We're also revamping the way we do business. You know, I come from a hospitality perspective, and you know, making sure that your guests are welcome when they're experiencing your destination is important, and that transcends how we operate in Wilton Manors. So we're going to be revamping our building and permitting department with having more of a concierge type service. We talked about increased density, redevelopment for that City Hall property, irrigation of our drive. Police are going to initiate a new visibility effort along Wilton Drive and in other corridors. And we've got next steps in line for other corridors in Wilton Manors, namely Oakland Park Boulevard and Andrews Avenue, two of our transit-oriented corridors. So lots of things are exciting on the horizon for Wilton Manors. And so as I like to say, you know, you keep quoting Teddy Roosevelt, if I might, you keep your eyes to the stars and your feet firmly planted on the ground, and who knows what the future may hold for you and your community. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Justin. That was great. And closing out our trio of mayors is the Vice Mayor of the City of Oakland Park, Matthew Sparks. He was elected to the Oakland Park City Commission in 2016. He's been employed by a major legacy airline for the past 21 years. He's always been politically active. He grew up in a small town in Santa Cruz Mountains. Between the ages of 12 and 16, he helped his family build a home. He learned the value of hard work at an early age and was told, if you don't like it, fix it. Don't get angry, get active. He earned an Associate of Arts degree from the Fashion Institute in Design and Merchanting. Sorry, thanks. Thanks, appreciate it. Commissioner Sparks is also a 2016 graduate of the LGA. I'm a graduate. He is the current representative on the Broward League of Cities. He was LGA class of 2016, Adopt a Street coordinator and volunteer, Kiwanis Club of Oakland Park. He volunteer corps of Oakland Park, Boys Under 13, and he is a gay men's chorus of South Florida volunteer. In 2015, Mayor Sparks and his husband moved to Oakland Park from Wilton Manors. Having lived throughout Broward County, they chose to call Oakland Park home. There is no other city in South Florida that has the feeling of community that they have found in Oakland Park. Without further ado,
Well, thank you for that introduction, Tim Hart, and I thank the sponsors for having us here today. What exciting times in Oakland Park that we have coming up. I'm extremely excited to announce that after many years of planning and public input, our work is underway on Oakland Park building for the 2nd century. Oakland Park was incorporated in 1929, and as we look ahead in our city to our city centennial. Take a breath. I don't usually have to do these things, so I apologize. We have a clear vision, one which is already starting to come into focus throughout our community. Since fiscal year 2015, Oakland Park has been awarded more than $27 million in grants, many of which help fund more than $55 million in capital improvement projects, such as the Stunson Nature Trail, Prospect Plaza, expanding the city's tree canopy, and recently completed Andrews Avenue roadway improvements. The city's newly enhanced roadways feature beautiful landscaping, bicycle lanes, and sidewalks. Our downtown has undergone a dramatic transformation as seen in Oakland Park's Culinary Arts District, an art park, much needed public parking, and a ground fountain plaza at Jacob Pastorius Park. Sorry, I keep thinking there's a video and there's not, that's later. The success and expansion of our premier culinary business, Funky Buddha Brewery, has attracted a variety of new restaurants, cafes, fitness centers, and distilleries to our downtown area. The city's $40 million facilities bond, approved by 67% of our residents, has set the stage to dramatically transform Oakland Park. Just yesterday morning, the city, I'm sorry, I am getting used to these glasses, and it's not working out. So don't walk downstairs. Just yesterday morning, the city began demolishing our outdated public works facility along Northeast 12th Terrace, just off Commercial Boulevard. The new project will pave the way for a more modern and service-focused public works facility at this location, making the current Public Works Administration property on Northeast 5th Avenue available to become part of the new and expanded Central Park area. Our nearly 20-acre Central Park area at Northeast 3rd off Northeast 38th Street Park, which is also known as Park Lane, is proposed as a potential home to Oakland Park's new library and a new, larger community center to replace Collins Community Center to better serve the needs and interests of our diverse community. Progressive lenses, I tell you. These new facilities will serve as an ideal complement to the city's adjacent parks and recreations facilities, including Wimberley Field, Stevens Field, the Dillon Tennis Center, and the walking and jogging trail. Some of the attractions being considered for the park and cultural complex area include a cool splash pad, more green space, and a playground area for families with children. Our facility improvements that are part of the approved $40 million bond include the city's 3 fire and rescue stations, Park Place at Jacob Pastorius Park, the North Andrews Gardens Community Center, and the comprehensive facilities plan is anticipated to be completed by Oakland Park's centennial celebration in 2029. Our City Commission and city leadership are sensitive to the challenges in changing climate, and we share a responsibility to protect our natural resources for a more sustainable future. Oakland Park recently entered into a joint climate action plan with Wilton Manors, the first jointly developed climate action plan nationally. We've already heard that, and I'm sorry. Proper recycling, preservation of green space, and the prioritization of smart growth are all areas we can embrace. Oakland Park continues to evolve to reflect our city's rich ethnic and cultural diversity. Our ambitious special events schedule features this weekend's Oktoberfest celebration, which kicks off tonight at 6 o'clock. Our recent Latin Fest, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, Community Soul, Youth Day, the Polynesian Cultural Festival, and several other events that provide free entertainment for all ages, such as Holiday Village, Taste of Oakland Park, Dancing in the Street, Summer Nights in the Park, and the Father's Day Weekend Fishing Tournament. Oakland Park's quality of life is not just attracting new residents, it's not only attracting new residents and quality housing projects, businesses are discovering our city to be a desirable destination to make a community investment, such as Bahama Breeze Restaurant, which is part of an ongoing makeover of the Federal Highway Corridor, which includes more redevelopment activity. New mixed-use developments in the southeast gateway to Oakland Park, named O and O2, are anticipated to have a tremendous impact by bringing more businesses, residents, and visitors to our federal highway arts and entertainment district, and expanding our city's tax base. And to the west, the former Oak Tree Golf Course property will be transformed into 405 new homes that include a nearly 10-acre linear park, safe walkways, attractive waterways, and public green space. We're proud to highlight two major improvement projects this year. The BidPack 8 infrastructure improvements in the east side of the city, and the Andrews Avenue roadway improvements, which we recently celebrated with a ribbon cutting. Other roadway improvements on the horizon include Northeast 21st Avenue, Northwest 10th Avenue, the Prospect Road corridor. Keep a lookout for more of the bright green bicycle lanes, like the ones on Andrews Avenue with our future roadway enhancements. Looking ahead, Oakland Park is poised for more exciting changes such as the Oakland Park Square project on the West Dixie lots currently underway in our downtown culinary arts district. Oakland Park Square will be a mixed-use development featuring nearly 35,000 square feet of commercial space, 87 residential apartments, 11 very cool live and work units, on-site parking for 343 vehicles, and 29,000 square feet of new City Hall offices and additional public space. This exciting public-private partnership is the first major mixed-use development in the city's community redevelopment area. After viewing the renderings of the Oakland Park Square project, we can't wait for this project to become our city hub and a true downtown destination. And just this week, Oakland Park has rolled out the welcome mat to world-renowned fashion designer Sebastian Gray of Project Runway, famed to his Sebastian brand fashion design headquarters in our downtown. We believe the future wave of mixed-use developments is essential to creating sustainable, walkable, multimodal downtown district with the perfect balance of integrated residential, commercial, and entertainment uses. As Oakland Park moves forward to our second century, we will continue to be the city on the move, engaged, inspired, and united for a more promising future. We would now like to share a short video showing the transformation of Oakland Park, building for our second century. Thank you.
Sinister. It's the dark ages.
Slowly through the days, got your head hung low, your skies are shading. Zombie in the you're asleep inside, but you can't shake away. 'Cause you taste the devil walking, think that you're on the ocean, but you can flip the switch and brighten up your darkest day. The sun's up and the cold never be the same. Come alive, your life, let it burn so bright. Reach it up to the sky, and it's open wide. Your legs will fly, and the world becomes a fantasy, and you're more than you could ever be. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive.
I would like to thank my city commission for being engaged and being active. We have an amazing group of people and an amazing leader in our city manager. He has so much responsibility in what you see here today. Thank you to our engineering team who's also with us today. So thank you all, and we look forward to working for a better future.
Well, before we go, we're going to have a drawing.
Which is the best city?
You win, Oakland Park, you win.
Oakland Park.
There's the bowl.
Oakland Park, Wilton, Manors, Grover is very good.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. First winner is Oakland Park.
It
It's
is
an Oakland Park card.
Jennifer Frostel.
There you go.